The Witch in the Wood by T.H. White, Chapter 3. Lothain Castle, where the Lots lived, was not like the castle of the Forest Sauvage in which King Arthur had been brought up, even in a physical way. It was different because of the prevailing characteristics of the country of Lothain and Orkney. The castle was a beautiful block of yellow stone, which had been built on the edge of a yellow cliff. This made it impregnable on the seaward side. The vast surge of the Atlantic broke against the foot of the cliff, and the clean moors rose up behind the fortification in line after line of heather and bog and granite stone. In the summertime, when the northern sun shone down into this amphitheater of lonely beauty, the sea would be bright blue with white lacework, and the cliffy keep would glow like ochre, and all the heather behind would be full of bees. In the winter, the roaring of the sea would echo up from the landing stage, and there would be fish nets or lobster pots about, and tar and mist on the hills, and a powder of snow on the high tops. There were no trees anywhere except for a deep dark belt of still firs which surrounded the castle on the land side. These firs had been grown for Morgoth by spells as a present from Morgan Le Fay. Even on the wildest winter day, the northeast wind, which tore about outside like a pack of wolves, became quite still and tame within their shades. No footfall could be heard inside them, because of the carpet of needles, and owls with ears made dread noises there at night time, and of course no grass could grow. It was a loath place. On account of it, Queen Morgoth was known by the country people as the Witch in the Wood. Besides the king and queen and their 4 sons and the various knights errant who dropped in for weekend, the only other person of consequence who lived in Lothain Castle was a Saracen called Sir Palomides. This Saracen, or Paynim, was supposed to tutor the boys. He was a very learned man who had been educated in one of the bardic schools of the East, with a large, round, shiny face and horn-rimmed spectacles. The whites of his eyes were shot with a sort of toffee color. He was charming, but not very good at teaching boys. "We will begin with Latin, please," Sir Palomides said one morning. What is Latin? Latin, Mr. Gawain, is language which Romans used to speak. Is it a bad language? No, Mr. Garrus, Latin is a dead language, thank you. I saw a dead calf this morning. I ate some sting. Boys must not be rude, little boys, not it, Sir Palomides admonished him. Interruptions must not be done. Now, mensa is Roman for tables. Are you a Roman? Asked Gareth. Certainly not so. We saw the inside of the calf. The farmer cut it open to find the string. It was nice. Attention! cried Sir Palomides. Mensa is Latin for table. But I don't want to know the Latin for a table. Mr. Agravain does. No, I don't. Well, then it is a hook'em high. What is a hook'em high? Mr. Agravain has got to, please. Why? Because he is told by yours truly. But you can't tell him to want to know something he doesn't want to know, you know. Mensa, mensam. The schoolroom was hot and dusty. It was one of the guest rooms in the south tower of the castle, which was used as a school when there were not too many guests, and it was directly above the butler's pantry. One window looked out through a great thickness of stone over the ocean, which lay far below it. The others looked into the court. You could see the north tower, and the stables, and the gatehouse, also a corner of the great tower, with its outside staircase of flags guarded by 2 stone falcons called Death and Night. 2 floors below them, the smithy was in full blast. They could hear the head smith, Hamish, going ding-dong, clatter-clatter, and there was the pungent, sickly smell of singed horse. All the horses were being shod like mad in preparation for war. Inside the schoolroom there was nothing to look at, only the thick mortared walls and an extremely inaccurate globe, with the Oceanus Aethiopithecus uppermost, and a man up to his stomach in it, blowing a sort of bugle. After about 10 minutes, Garrus asked, Can't we stop this bloody Latin, or whatever it is, and do arithmetic? No, cried Sir Palomides. No swearing, if you please. Why not? Because thus is rude. They could hear Hamish going ding-dong outside the window maddeningly, and the lovely weather was being wasted. What does rude mean? asked Garrus patiently. Rude, replied Sir Palomides, means to say things thus making people unhappy, and it is also rude to keep on asking why. Does it make you unhappy when we ask why? Yes. Why? Don't be rude, said Gareth. It's because he doesn't know the answer, so of course it makes him unhappy. Thus is not it at all, replied Sir Palomides angrily. Such unsleeping askings of questions interrupt educations necessarily. Impossible to get on with teaching young idea shooting when continually interrupted. But isn't learning the same as finding out about things? Self-evidently. When we ask why, explained Gawain, we want to find out about things. We will do arithmetic, replied Sir Palomides with dignity. How many springing heifers, asked the boys at once, could you buy for 1,000 thalers? That has nothing to do with same. Why? We are not conversing about farms. But I want to learn arithmetic so that I can sell things when I'm farming this land when I grow up. Prices of heifers is not arithmetic. What is it then? Well, multiplication is arithmetic. But why do you want to multiply? Except for cows, added Garrus. You multiply so that you can reckon the cows. Then how many cows do you reckon you could buy for $1,000? Not pedigree, added Garrus. 10, cried Sir Palomides, beginning to lose his head. Will you give us, shouted the family in unison, $1,000 for 10 springing heifers? Sir Palomides made a last effort to gain time. What sort? Tamworths? Certainly yours truly would give required sterling, replied Sir Palomides, as haughtily as possible, if they were good Tamworths. Tamworths are pigs! Screamed the family, jumping up and down with delight and spinning the Oceanus Aethiopicus in all directions. And we'll pause there.